Chapter 6. Hang on, hang on. Melody slipped her robe over her nightclothes as she ran down the stairs, leading from the apartment above the grocery store. The place always looked eerie at night, as if things hid in the shadows waiting to jump out at her. She snarled even as a shiver went up her tail. JR had put those silly stories in her head as a pup, and all these years later she hadn't forgotten them. Someone banged on the store's door, hard enough to break the glass. Hang on, I said! Melody tied her robe before swinging open the door. JR? She blinked at his massive frame silhouetted against the moonlight. His sharp ears were flat, and his eyes narrowed. What are you doing here? Don't ask. JR pushed past her. Hello, we're closed. JR murmured something as he scanned the shelves. Melody blew her hair out of her face. Honestly, I was in bed, JR. Don't you have a shred of... Melody, everything all right? Came a voice from upstairs, a shaky, frail-sounding one. Yeah, Dad. Melody paused to swallow the lump that rose in her throat when she heard his voice quivering so. It's just JR. Go back to sleep. Then tell him to pipe down, would you? I'm trying to sleep. Her father's voice strengthened as he spoke about JR. As if he listens to me. Melody crossed her arms, but inside she smiled. Her father could never stand to look or sound weak in front of JR. Her father, known to all as Mr. Withers, was the only source of discipline JR had ever had, and he took it upon himself to be an unshakable pillar JR could never break. Aha, here we go. JR snatched a large cube off the shelf. Pasting a grin on his face, he shouted, Pipe down yourself, you old man, I'm leaving. Boy, you better run before I come down here and tan your hide, Mr. Withers shouted, his voice even stronger than before. Melody rolled her eyes. Those two always went on it like that. She glanced at the package in JR's hands. Diapers? JR's grin disappeared. Don't ask. And you better pay for whatever you took, JR, Mr. Withers shouted, or I'll take you over my knee. You ain't too old. Yeah, I got it. JR smacked a bill on the counter. Later, Mel. He marched out. Wait a minute, JR. Melody caught the door before it closed behind him. What are you doing with diapers? I said, don't ask. JR drove off without another word. Melody stood in the doorway and watched the exhaust from his speeder dissipate in the streetlight's shimmer. What was that all about? She let her ears angle back. Why would JR need diapers? Maybe one of his girlfriends finally trapped him into taking responsibility. She tapped her elbow. It might be the most logical of explanations, but it didn't seem right. JR would do anything to escape responsibility. No, it wasn't likely he'd be taking care of a baby. So what were the diapers for? Well, whatever he was up to, one thing was certain. If he needed diapers, he'd probably need wipes, which means he'd be back in a few moments to wake her and her father up again. Or, she groaned, or she'd have to go give him the wipes. Either way, the result was the same. I'm not going to sleep anytime soon, am I? Melody sighed as she walked back into the store. Stupid JR.